Hello guys. Welcome to my channel. Don't forget like and subscribe. Imagine spending years fighting obesity, undergoing a significant shift to preserve your life, and then just as you start to make progress, life strikes you with yet another devastating blow. For Renee Biran, this was life. She shed the pounds by fighting hard against the weight and adhering to a rigorous doctor's regimen. She hoped for a new beginning, but life had other ideas. What actually happened to Renee, then? Why did her narrative end so tragically after all of her hard work? You'll learn about her difficult yet inspirational journey today. A woman who battled until the end is the subject of this tale. If you enjoy this type of content and would want to see more videos, please let me know in the comments section below, and I'll leave a heart next to it. Make sure you like the video first, though. Please ring the bell and subscribe if you're new here so you don't miss our weekly videos. Let's get started now. Renee's life was difficult from the beginning. In her own family, she never felt like she belonged. Her mother never truly showed her any affection and was aloof and frigid. I always had a strong desire for it. My mother never seemed to adore me. The only person who made her feel a little special was her grandmother because she was her husband's best friend. It was usually Grandma who told her stories and made her giggle while they ate gingerbread cookies. However, that enjoyment seemed fleeting, like a distant dream. Renee's life became a nightmare when she was 9 years old. Her stepfather started assaulting her, and the worst thing was that her mother was aware of it, but she took no action to keep her daughter safe. Even the pleasant recollections of her grandma were insufficient to fill the patient's immense void. She witnessed her mother observe everything and act as though nothing had happened. Despite being aware of what was happening, my mother didn't care enough to take action. She didn't seem to care all that much about me. It wasn't until I was 14 that the suffering stopped. My stepdad left in the interim, but Renee was aware that the scars persisted. After that, her life changed forever. At the age of 15, Renee was already overcoming more obstacles than most individuals encounter in their lifetime. She had to leave school to care for herself after becoming pregnant and giving birth to her daughter. She wed the father of the child, but things quickly took a turn for the worst. The man who initially gave off the impression of being Prince Charming ended up being a nightmare. By the time she turned 35, she had 2 more relationships and 2 more children after their divorce, and the struggle never seemed to end. She weighed over 200 kilograms, and her health began to deteriorate. She was forced to pause and reconsider everything following a car accident at work. She needed to find another way to support her children because she was no longer able to keep her employment. The internet entered the picture at that point. A whole new world of men paying to watch fat women eat was revealed to Renee. After she began performing live streams, she developed a new obsession called crushing, where she would get paid by men to sit on them. She came to the realization that some men are attracted to extremely obese women at that point. Being fed in such a way made me realize that the person truly enjoyed it since it allowed them to lose control of the situation, even if they had paid me to eat in front of them online. Her life had reached a breaking point by the time she was 45. She weighed over 230 kilograms and was already battling severe health problems. She lived alone and frequently needed assistance from the fire service to get back up after falling. Her life was being overtaken by physical constraints, making it more difficult for her to take care of herself and leave the house every day. The situation had only become worse by the time she turned 50. Her older daughters took over the role of carer after she was forced to move in with them. She spent most of her time in bed and rarely left the house. My mom needs us. Therefore, even though taking care of her is incredibly difficult, someone has to do it. I have my own stuff to take care of, so it pains me. Mothers are meant to care for their children, not the other way around. But something within her was resisting. She made the decision to travel to Houston, where she would have a shot, because she realized she needed help. Seen by Dr. Now, who may provide her a chance to turn her life around at last. However, things became more difficult during the journey. Renee began to feel quite ill. I don't want to pass away in the vehicle. I'm not sure what's wrong with me, but I feel like I'm having trouble breathing. I need a physician who can administer oxygen to me. Ren grew more agitated by the minute despite the daughter's best efforts to quiet her. Calling doctor now was the only option. Hello, R. This is the physician. What's happening? I also require treatment. Inhale anything that will aid in the delivery of oxygen to my body. You should head straight to the emergency department. I'll give you the address. Many thanks, doctor. Alright, goodbye. Ren was obviously feeling quite ill when I arrived at the emergency department. The medical staff acted quickly, placed her on a stretcher, and began treating her. I have both good and negative news to share. The bad news is that you are in very poor physical condition. The good news is that nothing life-threatening is currently found based on the tests. Prior to leaving your house, due to her illness, Renee was unable to complete the tests that the doctor had requested she undergo in order to ensure her ability to travel. In response to the doctor's question regarding her eating habits, she acknowledged that her children typically fed her enormous servings of food in an attempt to make her feel better. Whoever feeds you is the one who brings me food because you don't move around much. You've set up a situation at home where you basically manipulate your family into helping you harm yourself, the doctor added. The doctor then emphasized the gravity of the situation. Rennie knew for the first time that something needed to be done. A change was what she needed. After deciding to accept her, the doctor prescribed a rigorous course of treatment. Rennie was aware that a new chapter was about to begin. After a while, she felt as like she had a genuine chance of going forward, even though it wouldn't be easy. With that hope, she started to think that perhaps there was a way out after all the suffering. She lost 22 kilograms and reached 264 on the scale after months of diligent labor. Although her improvement pleased the doctor, it was only the beginning. Okay, then. To demonstrate your commitment to weight loss, I want you to shed 27 kilograms over the course of the upcoming months. The patient was adamant about continuing, even though she understood it would be a long journey. She was relieved to see her son Brent when he picked her up from the hospital, but she was also filled with hope and worry. With no relatives or doctors nearby to support her, she was now forced to undertake the voyage alone. However, as she attempted to get up to prepare to go, she had problems breathing and felt lightheaded. The doctor saw the problem right away. He informed her that in order to increase her strength, she would require physiotherapy and a great deal more work. Even though he secured her a ride home, she was overwhelmed by the stress of handling everything by herself. She believed she would eventually be accepted for bariatric surgery after all that work, but then things started to go south. Every movement only made the confined space feel worse. She attempted to move on the bench, but her leg prevented her from doing so. Desperation set in when she found herself buried beneath her own body, her leg caught in a position that prevented her from moving. Despite her strength, she realized at that moment that she would not be able to attend the appointment. Her leg started to hurt more when she eventually got out of the automobile. She became really anxious at that time and called the doctor to let him know what had happened and that she wouldn't be able to attend the appointment. The physician managed to transport her to the hospital. They dispatched an ambulance. As soon as the doctor got there, she saw that the leg wasn't the true problem. Her commitment to the process was what counted most. Accepting it was her only option. Additionally, the doctor made it plain that she would be removed from the program if she missed any water aerobic sessions. Rennie was afraid she wouldn't be able to handle the classes for the first few days, but her son persisted, and she ended up liking them. It was time for her next appointment after a while. She was quite optimistic and believed she had made good progress, but when she got on the scale, she discovered she had only dropped 4 kilograms. She understood she would need to put in much more effort because the journey was far from over. Pap, but I'm still losing weight. No, that's the bad part. You only lost 4 kilograms. So what's bad is that I'm still tired and have no energy. When you started feeling this way, why didn't you give me a call? I assumed the diet was the reason you were feeling ill. Particularly after 4 months off the regimen, the patient's circumstances were difficult. After she messed up again, she spent 2 months in the hospital receiving rigorous treatment and following a strict diet. Renee dropped to 211.4 after losing over 45 kilograms as a result of her hard work. She was eventually released and returned home after her health stabilized. She was given a new objective by the doctor, to shed 14 kilograms within a month. This was her only true chance, he made plain. Renee gave it her best, and by the time of her subsequent checkup, she had dropped 13 kilograms to 201. The doctor gave his approval even though she fell short of the goal. Bariatric surgery. You lost 13 kilograms in a month, whereas I set a goal of 14 kilograms. I approved the procedure since that's a significant improvement, quite close. The patient had to continue decreasing weight and completing additional tests prior to the treatment. She lost another 9 kilograms in a month, as evidenced by her weight dropping to 192 kilograms when she was weighed again. At last, she was prepared for surgery. She weighed 183 kilograms a month after the successful operation. She shed an incredible 103 kilograms over the course of the following year, which at first looked unachievable. She wasn't just fighting obesity when she came on the show, she truly wanted to improve. However, fate had a more formidable task in store for her. It was already difficult for her to fight her weight, but in 2019 she suffered an even greater setback. Guillain-Barré syndrome, an autoimmune condition that assaults the nerves and can result in paralysis, was the diagnosis made for her. Things only grew more difficult after that. Renee had to transfer into a nursing home after losing the majority of her mobility, something she had always dreaded but was powerless to avoid. She intends to. Her plans to continue dropping weight and have surgery to remove extra skin were postponed. Unfortunately, Renee Biran's narrative came to an end on May 14, 2021, when she died at the age of 56. Although the cause of death was never officially disclosed, it is thought to have been caused by high blood pressure and complications from Guillain-Barré syndrome. She left behind numerous loved ones, including children and grandchildren. Despite all of the difficulties she encountered, Renee never stopped dreaming, and those who knew her recall her as self-assured and vivacious. The journey left us with a lot of courage despite its many enormous hurdles. However, how about you? How did you feel about Kilos Mortise's Renee story? What do you believe killed her? If you enjoyed it and read this far, please leave a comment.